good morning, everybody. Hello and welcome in. Glad you are with us here today on a Thursday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Thursday, better than Wednesday. Not a big Wednesday guy. I don't know. Last night was pretty good. I'll admit that. More on that later. But, hey, football, it is here. And, well, more baseball, too. I'm kind of turning into a baseball guy lately.
Yeah, there's some good ones. Last night in the American League Championship Series, Seattle got a good start playing at home. Crowd's nuts. Seattle had a 2-0 lead in the series. Things are going their way. And then all of a sudden, Toronto decided to turn it on. They scored like 12 straight runs. And they win it going away 13-4 in the American League Championship Series. 2 games.
I don't know a lot about pitching, Barry, but I got to tell you, to me, it seemed like the Mariners left that guy in a little bit too long.
You know, after they got the 5-run inning, the guy's name is George Kirby.
Yeah.
How many people, number one, he's a pretty good pitcher. How many people do you know under the age of 25 with names like George Kirby? If usually he's Amish or he's in the witness protection program. Kids, these names, come on, people, read the cultural room. You name your kid Justin. You name your kid Brandon. You name your child Zykevius. You know, you don't name your George. John's brought this up
George
before.
Sip.
Yeah, it's like Frank.
Yeah,
How
Ralph.
many kids do you know? And by kids, John and I are talking about people like 30 and younger. That guy's name is George Kirby.
And he's got the stash like Jackson Arnold. I'm thinking, what's up with these guys wearing the mustache these days? But I did hear the guy's record. I'm thinking, well, tonight wasn't his night. They left him in a little too long. I wasn't, it didn't matter to me. Yeah. That lets you know how much of the game I did watch. I'm thinking, how long are they going to leave this guy in? I mean, I ain't opposed to it. More on that later, but I'm thinking, well,
he's already done me quite a service. He doesn't have to do any more for me, you know. And if he doesn't have anything to do for me, why leave him in? You know, give him somebody else, you know, give them a try. So that was last night. Seattle loses big to Toronto. 2 games today in the league championship series. Dodgers and Milwaukee from Dodger Stadium, and Toronto and Seattle again from Seattle. The first game, the LA game, 5:08, and then 7:33. For that second game, or Friday night football, the number 2 Miami Hurricanes.
You don't do that.
You never say this sentence. You never should have to say the number 2 team in the nation plays this Friday.
No.
Miami Hurricanes against Louisville. That's at 6.
Now, those are kind of games, Barry, on nights like that, funny things happen. I remember years and years ago, believe it or not, Oklahoma State, a team I've been beating up on for 30 years, was in a position to make the college football playoff or something like that. They get beat like by Tulsa on a Friday night, which moves Alabama in a position to go to the playoff or go to the national championship, something.
Even though they had lost to the Aubs.
Yeah, but Oklahoma State, once again, crap the bed, and Bama gets in. So Friday nights can bite you. Just letting you know, Miami,
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
But it's not just Miami. It's a Power 4 night. Nebraska at Minnesota on Fox tonight.
Is that Power 4? Oh,
it is.
Yes.
Yeah. Those are 2 teams named after the states and nothing else. North Carolina at Cal.
So is Delaware. They got beat by Jackson State last night.
Jacksonville
State.
Yeah. North Carolina at Cal tonight, 9:30 Central Time. Sometimes we hear those 9:30 games, and the next thing I hear is more on that later. So, we'll see.
We will see.
It was a pretty good Wednesday. I will absolutely go along with that. Not that.
My wife is really amazed. She goes, "What's up with this baseball?" So it's the postseason. It's a little bit different when they start getting to the playoffs.
It is.
So Junior appreciated the answer to the question about the home runs. As a matter of fact, he went even further to ask the question last night. In every day of Major League Baseball, and obviously some days there's more games than others, he goes, "Do you think there's a home run hit every day? It doesn't matter, not a particular team, but just every day. If there's 5 games in the Major League Baseball on a Tuesday, there's one of those games hit a home run." I went, I think they do. So I think every day in baseball, if there's 5 or more games, one team's hitting a home run.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's probably about right. Now, the interesting thing that I've seen from Wednesday, and that I hope I don't see, quite honestly, from the rest of the week, this is, of course, Tennessee week.
Yeah, it is.
In the past,
I've got a rash,
John and I worked in the same room, in the same studio, which was a long time ago. You didn't kid around with John this week.
No.
You didn't joke around. You didn't. He had the eye black on, which was weird. Every once in a while he'd break down and go throw a shoulder into the door frame and everything. And you don't wear bright orange. I mean, he'd kick a traffic cone just to kick it.
Yeah.
During Tennessee week.
No texts, no phone calls Saturday night.
Now this is
got to be zeroed in.
This is all related. Tennessee week.
Yeah.
Last night, Auburn basketball lost in an exhibition game.
Well,
last night in overtime to Oklahoma State, right? Well, exhibition.
I'm a little concerned here, Barry, as you position into that.
Yeah.
I'm a little, a lot going on at Auburn, a lot of talk, a lot of rumbling, captains jumping ship. It's been a tough week. Now the basketball.
He got kicked. Yeah. Okay.
Now Austin got kicked
off the. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that goes on. I'm sure that really goes well in the locker room.
He walked the plank.
Yeah.
If you're talking about jumping down.
Yeah. Sounds like to me, he and the coach had a
difference.
So he left.
This is John going off a tangent, off of his tangent from my story I was about to tell. So I've got to get him back to his original tangent, and then it'll come back to my story.
I'm just trying to set the to set the stage here. What relevance does this have, Your Honor? Well, I'll tell you, it's been a tough week.
Yeah.
So they go they play this game against a team that's picked to finish 11th in their conference out of 16 teams, 11th, mind you. And they lose in an exhibition game. I remember when Auburn lost to AUM in an exhibition game as well.
Yeah.
So that isn't good. And then I look on the Vegas lines at Wager Talk, and now Auburn is squarely a 1.5-point underdog across the board at every sports book I can find. So what's going on over there?
Well, you can find that out. Auburn, again, back to my original point. This is Tennessee week.
Yes, it is.
Bear hated Tennessee. For so many years, Alabama and Tennessee probably still do. Tennessee have the most SEC wins in Alabama, most SEC wins, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
National championships.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn loses in an exhibition. I want to say it was at Boutwell Auditorium last night.
Kind of a home game to me, if you will. Huh?
Yeah. In overtime.
97-95. Wow.
And let me tell you, son, TighterInsider.com is all over that.
Barry, it's the source. If you want the information, you got to go to TI. You kidding me?
Over the place. I waxed the dude. Enters in the Tighter Insider forum and said that AU logo on Little Pearl's shirt is as proportionate as their mid-court logo at Beard Eves. Jake 89 says, down goes baby sweat hog. Kyle Guy says, Auburn loses again, this time in basketball. Welcome, Stephen Pearl. Stephen Pat Knight Pearl takes the L. I'm telling you, 0 Barners in the upper deck at Boutwell. How embarrassing. The barn doesn't have any. Arizona Jeff says the barn doesn't have anywhere near close to the rim protection they had last year. Is this not Tennessee week? Am I taking crazy pills?
No,
Are they forsaking the Tennessee rivalry to focus on exhibition?
Barry, you've got to do something. You got to do something to break the stress. You got to do something to kind of exhale, decompress.
That's what Gracie said on the Rome show one time.
Yeah, take some time off. You know, if you're having a stressful part of life, people go, hey, you know, why don't you go up to my lake place for a couple of days and just unwind? Or, you know, why don't we go out here and take a walk in the park? And so you're squarely focused on the matter at hand, but you don't want to peak too soon. So before Saturday night at 6:30, you got to find ways, you got to find some diversions, some ways to just let go, relax, exhale.
Which, for the Auburn fans,
go to Tighter Insider.
For the Alabama fans, dog the Obs.
Yeah,
that takes the edge off.
I've said it forever. It's how they humor themselves. You know, if Auburn would, you know, become relevant again and be up there in the top of the SEC in football and I guess basketball at this moment, you know, then they wouldn't be so, oh, look at this. We can have a little fun for the next 30 minutes. But don't be fooled. It is squarely.
I'm fooled.
On Tennessee. I mean, they had their little fun last night. Here it is Thursday. They'll get back focused. You know, DeBoer's told them to get right, and it's a big week. And I will say this, Barry. I thought about this person yesterday, a former co-worker of ours who passed away about a year or so ago, Bill Harden, who worked with us at Cumulus. This was his week. And, man, every day we would get some little Bama, Tennessee email or text or something. He did not like Tennessee week.
To his credit, and God rest his soul, that was the one week where he didn't dog the Obs. I mean, whatever. Man, those Vols, golly, you know, we got to do something about that.
So thinking about him yesterday.
I'm just making sure. I mean, it's Bama fans.
Now, look.
It's still a big deal, right?
I know we have all kind of fun and games here, but if I recall, about, 6 weeks ago, to get a message board. Oh, look at these Bammers. They get beat by a Florida State team that only won 2 games last year. I mean, you know, it works both ways.
I've
seen the all message boards, not very often because they hadn't had a lot to really jab them about, but when they get that chance, watch out.
Even then, the Auburn criticism of Alabama football after the loss to Florida State pales in comparison to the Alabama criticism.
I mean, some of these guys on these Auburn sites are pretty creative and humorous as well. I got to give them credit. I mean,
really?
Oh yeah.
Really? Now, I'll Baby Sweat Hog?
Oh yeah.
Baby Sweat Hog is what they're calling. They called it Harsin Potato Gus.
Yeah, well, they called DeBoer Northwest Harsin or something, or Husky Harsin or something like that. But I mean, I will admit, Tighter Insider's got some pretty good comedians. Some of them I know, some of them I don't, but they come up with some pretty humorous stuff. But it certainly goes both ways.
The dude is one of my favorites. You've got the guys like Bama Forever. I Wax the Dude is on there a lot.
So I guess to the seriousness of it, though, should we be concerned about Auburn losing to the team that's projected to finish 11th out of 16 teams in their league?
Again.
Should we be worried about that?
My point earlier, so many years ago, about Auburn losing to AUM at Beard Eves Coliseum isn't a real loss because it's an exhibition game. Just like all those times when Auburn was beating Alabama in the Capital City Classic in baseball at Riverwalk. And John said, it doesn't matter. It's an exhibition. That was a real game. But what I told you about Auburn, losing to AUM, love AUM, got some great friends there, but that doesn't even really mean anything because it was an exhibition.
So what does the coach tell the players?
By the fact that Auburn turned out not to be very good that year. As a matter of fact, they stunk. But, an exhibition game.
Did the players not go out there and try as hard? Well, it's just an exhibition game. So what? Big deal. We'll go through the motions. It is our first real live game action against a different face and a different opponent. We're not scrimmaging ourselves. Let's just go out there and half-ass it for two halves and see what happens. And Coach Pearl's probably going, guys, just go out there and go give me 50%. No big deal if we win or lose.
He ain't playing his starters 38 minutes. He's not at the very end.
Did Oklahoma State?
They ran combinations. They want to see how people look. That young kid, they ran combinations they may not run in crunch time.
Sounds to me like Auburn's bench needs to improve.
Nebraska, they do. They all need to improve. Everybody needs to improve. The season hadn't started yet.
I will admit, as we go to break, I'll come clean. I will confess. I had no idea Auburn was playing Oklahoma State last night. I think I heard it earlier in the week that they were playing their first game against them. I didn't realize it was last night until ding, 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 ding. I'm thinking, what the hell is this all about? Ding. Oh, wow, look at this. So I got to thank my operatives in the field for keeping me updated on Auburn basketball last night. Thank you. I appreciate that.
The dings ain't about, hey, man, that running back for Tennessee, he's looking better. He really concerns me.
No,
we need to hit him in the mouth early.
No concern about that.
None of that. Will there be anything said tonight when Alabama looks for retribution in an exhibition game in Birmingham against Florida State?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that either.
That's tonight on YouTube TV. On YouTube,
fellas, keep me updated on that score tonight.
Yeah,
I'll be watching.
Will there be total focus from AuburnUndercover.com about the outcome of that game, as opposed to
we will see.
We need to beat Missouri. What in the world's happened with Damari? I hope that doesn't tank the team's chemistry and all.
I do not know where Florida State's projected to finish in their league. Someone did point that out to me about Oklahoma State. Only time I think about Oklahoma State basketball, they played Alabama. They had this guy named Brian Big Country. Somebody named Big.
His name was Bryant. I can't believe you can't remember the name Bryant. Bryant Big Country Reeves.
Yeah,
that
guy.
He took him to the Final Four 1 year. He was 7 feet tall, flat top, looked like the biggest country album you ever saw in your life, the biggest country album cover. But that boy could play.
Didn't they beat Bama in the tournament that year?
Heck, you're gonna have to.
I think they did. That's the only way I would have remembered. I think they did play Alabama in the tournament.
That's probably true.
In Alabama, and they beat Bama. I think it was maybe a close game. Heck, I don't know.
When Alabama made it to the Final Four.
Oh, there he is.
Who did they lose to?
There he is.
That's the only way. That's Bryant Big Country Reeves.
Look at the shoulder. Played for Memphis. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
He played in the NBA for the Grizzlies for a little while. Yeah.
Anyway,
we got to
wait a minute. Who beat Alabama? What now? Oh,
who beat Alabama in the Final Four? John says that's the only way I'd know is if they beat them in the Final Four in the tournament.
The team that ended up winning it all, UConn. Am I right? UConn? Didn't UConn beat them? Maybe.
Was it not San Diego State?
I'm going with UConn, judges. Did San Diego State win the national title?
They did not.
Oh, I thought it was a team that ended up winning the national.
Okay,
well, I know Indiana beat them years ago, 100-101, back in '76, I think.
That was the year they went 32-0. We got to take a break.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we could do this forever. It's, again, Longshore and McKnight featuring Jason Caldwell from AuburnUndercover.com. in a moment. Please, let's not spend the whole segment on him asking about the exhibition loss in overtime to Oklahoma State by the Auburn
Folks, I'm just telling you, Bama, you're under a lot of pressure tonight because if Florida State beats you tonight in this so-called exhibition,
I am on it.
Get ready.
On rice. Rodney Orr, Tider Insider, joins us later on as well. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Okay, we're back at it. 22 minutes past the hour. As Barry mentioned, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, going to join us here in about 7 or 8 minutes from Auburn Undercover. Looking forward to that. Hey, folks, always remember we're part of Yellowhammer News, yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. Video content, a write-up about the show each and every afternoon. Also on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. We're on X, Spotify, Apple Tunes as well. You can find us in all those platforms. I'm sure there's others as well. A lot of folks check it out on their time at their convenience, which we really appreciate. We do it live 7 to 9 every weekday morning, but you can check it out whenever you want. And Barry tells me on Facebook, it is blowing up, and we really appreciate that.
It is good. It's Apple Podcasts as well. And probably, like I said, smoke signals.
Oh, yeah.
Morse code. You can probably catch it anywhere. Alabama, this is what I see. Missouri is now a 1.5-point favorite over Auburn. Auburn was leading or was favored by something like 2.5 when the lines first came out. I'm sure a lot of that is Damari Alston leaving and maybe, with the effect it'll have on the chemistry. Because, John, we're going to ask Jason this, but I'm here to tell you there's some players that ain't happy about it. And we're not happy about it. This happens. I agree with Jason Jones yesterday. The unintended consequence of the 4-game limit before you lose your red shirt is that some players will play 4 games, and if they're not playing enough, they're going to ask the coach if they can redshirt or ask for a medical redshirt, which the coach cannot grant. It has to be somebody else. And if you don't, then the coach is the bad guy and the coach is the heartless one. But you can't have that kind of thing on your team. You can't have guys in the middle of the year say, hey, coach, I don't want to play anymore.
So how do they correct that, Barry? Because I don't think this is the last time we're going to hear
it's not
like this. And I'm not saying at Auburn. I think it could happen everywhere. These players are going to say, look, I got to make my money. I'm all about me. I've got an opportunity to help myself and my family and whomever, and I'm not getting it done here, so I got to go somewhere else where I can get it done.
Yeah.
That's their mentality. I'm sure people are in their ear telling them that as well. So, yeah, I'm sure these coaches are not happy about it one bit, but how do they stop it?
The thing not to do is to tell your player or to tell the public that this guy fell short of standards. I disagree with what they did with Damari Austin, because by all accounts, he was a great kid, good student, team captain, highly popular and all that. Here's the thing, and it sounds simplistic. My biggest new issue as a play-by-play announcer, I have spotting charts. I spend hours on them every week for football. And when I first started, John, you had, you'd put the kid's name, number, hometown. You'd put freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior, redshirt senior. Now you've got seventh-year senior. You've got a guy who's coming back, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, last year, I said all year long this was his last year because he was a redshirt senior. Now he's back again. That's my biggest issue, is trying to keep track on everybody. Here's what you do. You give him 5 years. Just give him 5 years.
Yep.
You can play 5 years. You can play 4 years and go to the NFL. You can redshirt one of those years, but you got a 5-year window to play your college football career. And that's it. There's no Diego Pavia. If you played JUCO, you get to have an extra year at least. If you've had a COVID year, redshirt year, medical redshirt year, and you played JUCO, forget it. You got 5 years. Whatever
it's kind of like the I agree. And I think the transfer portal window, I know that we've talked about it. It's been an issue. They're condensing it, making it once. But, I don't like the dates of that, Barry, because if you're in the national championship game, the portal's already open. So you're kind of, other teams are making moves and you can't because you're still playing. And I know it's the academic schedule. That's one of the issues as well. I really wonder if that really is that big of an issue sometimes. But I think they've got to move that at least the Monday after the national championship game. It's open for a week, 10 days. And after that, it's boom, it's over. And it's over before spring football starts. So you can't be jumping ship again.
They have tweaked that. They'll continue to tweak that even more. I don't know how they, my simplistic solution to the redshirt rule is, forget about 4 games in. Just go ahead and give them 5 years and forget everything else. You can redshirt. You can have a medical red shirt. If you miss 2 years because of a red shirt and a medical red shirt, tough stuff. You played 3 years, but your 5 years is over. That's it. As far as the transfer portal and changing that to make it perfect for everybody, including the teams in the playoff, I got no solution to that because, again, you got winter term starting up in January. If you're 4 weeks into winter term, John may have been able to pull that off one year before he attends his first class. God bless you. Well, got a lot of issues.
Isn't there like a little window of time, Barry, where you can go through drop and add when the semester starts, like, a week? So maybe they could just kind of we were thinking about dropping and adding. So now we're just going to add because I just transferred. I got to add some classes to my new school. Maybe they can do it that way.
Yeah. Jason says the Natty versus the portal window argument is irrelevant. It is anymore. They tweaked it up. He said it used to affect every team in the playoffs. Now it's only affecting the final 2, who are probably built pretty solid, hence the reason they're in the championship. That makes sense.
I get that, and I understand that, but still, those just because you make the national championship, you're going to be penalized of not being able to work the portal?
But are you holding the other 134 teams hostage because these 2 teams are playing for the championship? Do you make all the rules?
Is one more week going to kill them?
That was John's. He said, Mom, Dad, come on. Is one more week going to kill me? Maybe that one. Let's take a break. We got a lot to ask Jason Caldwell in just a moment from AuburnUndercover.com. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150s and Lightnings, each 16 grand off, with 2.9% on F-150 or 0% on Lightning. And Super Duties, 12 grand off or 0%.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Broncos and Explorers, each $10,000 off, with 2.9% on Explorer. Plus, Mach-E's at 11 grand off or 0% for 75 months.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
All righty, welcome back, everybody. Glad you're with us. Just a reminder, we'll be at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville tomorrow. We'll tell you more about that later on. Make sure to come by and see us. Hey, right now, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us as he does each and every Thursday during this slot. Jason, good morning. Hope you're doing well.
Morning, guys. How are y'all?
I'm doing well. Troubling since the last time we talked to you last Friday. First of all, the loss at home to Georgia, 20-10. Auburn took a lead into the half at Jordan-Hare and couldn't do anything after that. To what do you lay that at the feet of?
Yeah, momentum. It was 10-10 early in the third quarter, and it felt like it was 50-0. I mean, it just did, and like, you can't allow those things to happen. But I'm just telling you, as soon as he fumbled the football, the game was over with. And there's no question. Now, it's splitting hairs whether you think he scored or not. I can see it both ways. You can't drop the football. Just can't do it. Now, there were plenty of other issues with the way the game was officiated. You can take that play out of the equation. There's still 100 more things you can talk about on how disastrous that was the other night. But you can't fumble the football. As soon as that happened, it should have been a minimum 17-0. Honestly, it should have been 21-0. You had dominated the football game. You should have been up 21-0. You had 2nd and 2 inside the 10-yard line and had to kick a field goal in that situation. So when you've dominated a football game and it's 10-3 at halftime, that's usually a bad sign, and that was the case the other night.
What about halftime adjustments? I mean, I know the mental side of it and the bad call and the delay and the 30 minutes it took to play 2 in the final half. But what we've seen it in some previous games, at halftime, it's almost like a different team comes back out, or maybe the other team, I don't know, but just makes better adjustments.
Yeah, I think they said, look, we're not going to let you run the football. And right now, if this team can't run the football, they can't move the football. It's as simple as that. They're 123rd nationally in yards per pass attempt. There's only 133 teams. They're 123rd nationally with Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, those guys outside. I don't know if anybody said this week, but do you know what they were last year? Yards per pass attempt. Peyton Thorne, same offense, without 2 offensive tackles. They were 10th. Auburn was 10th nationally in yards per pass attempt a season ago. That's the full season. They're 123rd nationally right now. That's the issue. Because Georgia said, look, we're not going to let you run the football. Not happening in the second half. It's not going to happen. And right now they are not making plays in the passing game. And so if you can't do that, it's hard to win. And so I think that's as much as anything we saw. Look, you didn't have many possessions in the second half either, because Georgia did a great job offensively they went the other way. They said, look, we can't run it. We're just going to throw it almost every down. And they did, because Auburn was not going to let Georgia run the football. Georgia did a good job with the short passing game. Gunnar Stockton was, I mean, he's not a great quarterback, but he's tough as nails, and he stood in there and just kept playing. But, you know, I look at that one and going, look, it wasn't for 25 minutes. It was as good as an Auburn football team has played in my mind in several years, not this year. In several years, that was as good as an Auburn team has played in 25 minutes. But yet you're up 10-3 because you just didn't finish off a couple of drives. And so I thought momentum was absolutely 100% as much as anything. But Auburn's inability to be able to throw the football was a big reason, you know, in the second half, along with not getting off the field on defense.
So for some of the Auburn fans that I have talked to and I have heard that are trying to compartmentalize the reasons why the game didn't go Auburn's way, compartmentalizing it as far as the referees go is not, in your mind, really legitimate?
I think they 100% had an impact on the game. But you still, in my mind, you still should have won that football game. Just like it's like Oklahoma for me. Those two games are different than like A&M. Or there wasn't, but I think Oklahoma, same thing. Of all those things happened, there were still plays to be made, and you still should have won a football game.
Yeah.
For all the things that happened. Same thing I feel like Georgia the other night. All those things that happened, you should still be up 21-0 because you can't fumble the football. You can talk about all the things. It wasn't like it was you gave them an opportunity to not call that a touchdown. And so in my mind, that one's a little different. Now the clapping timeout, the roughing the passer, all those things, I thought they were as bad of a group of officials as I have seen maybe ever, because I don't think they had control of the football game at all. I think they were completely lost. And they allowed that to kind of just fester all night long.
Yeah.
Because it started from the beginning. We had two or three reviews on the first possession of the game. And it never stopped. And I tweeted, I don't normally tweet during the game because I'm on the field. I tweeted during the game the other night, look, they might as well not even be here. Just play the football game like you're practicing. And then when they see something, just call it in from Birmingham and say, hey, we got a penalty here. That's what it felt like was happening. They weren't even making a call.
Yeah.
So to me, I thought they totally botched the game. But all that withstanding, Auburn should have won the game anyway.
Right.
So you would expect Eli Drinkwitz to have the similar game plan. Auburn can't throw it. We're going to stack them, going to dare them to run. They're down, one of their best running backs. Would you expect anything different Saturday?
No, and that's the way they play anyway. They're number two nationally in rushing offense and rushing defense. That's the way they play. So you're going to have to find a way to throw the football Saturday. Now, all those things notwithstanding, like Alabama ran for 100 yards, and somebody else they played earlier. They have not played a road game yet. They played all 6 games at home. So it's going to be different for them. Bo Perbula is a guy that's played a lot of football and is a grad student, but has never started a game on the road. So this will be the first time. So there's some things that factor into this one. But all week long, I've said the same thing. And I wrote in this kind of cheesy, but and Bill Cameron kind of said the same thing. We were talking about it yesterday. I said, look, it's perfect that they're playing Missouri because they got to show me. I cannot pick Auburn to win this game until I see them make a play when it matters, because they should be 5-1. I think they were as good as Texas A&M. They'll be as good as Missouri Saturday night physically, but can you go make a play to win a game? That's what I got to see.
Jason, I trust your perspective. So many people do. In any way you want to calibrate this, in any way you want to measure this, how much trouble is Hugh Freeze in?
It's really hard to tell, because I don't think this is a situation where, like right now, where you're getting this news out of Florida where people are saying, hey, no matter what happens this weekend, I think it's over with.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case at Auburn, but you also don't need the rest of this season to go like 2012 did, to where you go, all of a sudden it falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
Then things change. I don't think it's that way right now. I don't foresee this team being that kind of team. But if it were to happen, then, so because everybody made a kind of a big deal out of John Cohen's comments or whatever. But it's look, right now, it doesn't feel that way. But you don't know what Heck, Penn State was ranked number 3 in the country less than a month ago, and now they're having a coaching search. This world is completely different. It's mad. It's crazy. Doesn't make sense. Have no idea what to do. And y'all, before I came on, y'all were talking about I completely agree. 5 years to play 5.
Okay.
Done. That's it. I wrote my defensive preview today on Arkansas, and Jalen Catalon's a guy. I mean, on Missouri. Jalen Catalon's a guy that played at Arkansas in 2019. Now, here's the thing.
I hadn't read that yet.
He is lettered 4 years at Arkansas, a year at Texas, a year at UNLV, and now he's playing at Missouri. He's going to be a 7-year letterman, not just playing football for 7 years. He's going to have lettered for 7 years. And we talked to Charles Barkley the other day. He said those people are supposed to be doctors.
Yeah.
And so I don't know.
Wow.
But I don't. Here's my thing about transfer portal too. You can't make everybody happy. They've already destroyed college sports. And it's not coming back. There's no way to fix it. You're not going to make people happy. People are going to keep going to judges and going, "Hey, I deserve this. I should do this." You got to make a stand at some point and go, "Look, we got to figure something out to at least try to make this thing work."
Yeah.
Well,
and I've said it, Jason. I mean, Damari Alston's not going to be the last one. I mean, it's going to happen across the country, across the board. People say, I'm doing the same thing.
Well, it had already happened, but they're going to start writing into contracts. Look, if you're healthy and you decide not to play, then you're not getting your money. So that'll stop some of it. It would for me if somebody says, "Look, we're not going to pay."
Well,
you.
like Freeze said about a year ago, if we're going to commit to you for a couple of years, you got to commit to us.
Yeah, and so again, it's going to happen in situations. But people have asked me about like the roster, and like these things are. It's so different than in 1988. If one of your team captains had left the team during the season, you would have felt like it was the end of the world. Heck, these teams are all new anyway. Like I said, I just did a Missouri preview, and every player I mentioned was a transfer.
Yeah,
every single one of them.
It's weird.
These guys move around so much now that it even during the year, it doesn't even faze these guys.
Again, depending on your perspective for clarity on this, Jason, in the Damari Alston situation, and Hugh Freeze, is there right? Is there a wrong? Is there a good guy? Is there a bad guy in this?
I think this world that we live in now has caused these situations. I don't think it's the schedule being 6-6. I think now because you're allowed to transfer, now I think it's caused these situations where, to me, I can see it's almost like moving a football game to Atlanta. Would I have done it? No. Do I understand why it happened? Yes. This is what the world is forcing us now in college athletics to do, is to go, "Hey, I got another year of eligibility. I'm going to wait and play somewhere else." And as a coach, I'm like, "Look, we're trying to win Saturday. That I can't worry about next year. I'm worried about winning right now.
Otherwise, I might not be here next year."
Yeah, correct. So for me, there's no right or wrong. It's unfortunate is what I say, because I think it's an unfortunate situation that now we're going to, as John alluded to, we're going to see more of. And I just hate it.
Well, Jason, I think we're going to see more of what Auburn's doing next year as well. I think teams all over the country are going to, whoa, wait a minute. I can go somewhere, make a ton of money for my NIL, sign me up.
Yeah, we're already seeing it in basketball. I mean, all these teams playing these players' era basketball tournaments, you're going to see these things because people are now, this is like the old household budget. How can you stretch your budget now to give you as much money as possible under these rules?
Yeah.
And if you only have $18-20 million and you go, look, we can add $7 million to the pot to get a roster, then people are going to start doing those things.
All right. Now, from just a pure football sense, in your estimation, what does the loss of Damari Alston mean?
Yeah, third down more than anything to me. Jeremiah Cobb has been the number one guy now for the last 4 weeks or so.
Right.
I'm obviously experienced. The pass protection thing has probably been the biggest deal. He's probably been the best guy at that. But in terms of just pure production, honestly, Omar Mabson, the true freshman, comes in and I think you're probably going to be every bit as good just running the football as you were before. The third down issues, it's just depth now more than anything, because you take one more guy out of the group. Alvin Henderson now moves up. Justin Jones is 4. It's a walk-on, because Darrell Robinson was the guy you brought in to fill this role. He had the compartment syndrome issue, getting closer to getting back, but he won't be back this week. So now you look and you got 3 scholarship running backs, one of whom is a true freshman who hasn't taken a snap this year. The other one is a true freshman who's played a little bit, who should still be in high school. That's your 3 scholarship running backs heading into Saturday night.
Back to Barry's question about Hugh Freeze's future. There are 5 games left before the Iron Bowl. Heard someone earlier this week make the statement, if he loses 2 of the 5, he would not coach in the Iron Bowl game for fear if he beats Alabama, they can't get rid of him then. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't know, because the only people that can answer that are going to be John Cohen and board of trustees or whoever he would deal with to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really difficult, because it's going to depend on how those games go, who you lose to, who you win, who you beat, how you're playing. Because I firmly believe right now you could have the same record, and if you had lost the last 3 games 35-31, people wouldn't be mad. They go, look, they're scoring offense. Got to find a way to win a game, because of the way it's happened. Like, if you turn on now and you start scoring points and you start losing some close games and you start to show some life offensively, it probably changes the way you feel a little bit. But if it's like it is now, then yeah, all bets are off the table, because you just don't know if you continue to look up and score 13 points and you're having issues, and they got to find a way to win a close game. There's no question about that, and that would be a good first step.
If my final question, in a different context, is Jackson Arnold's starting job in trouble?
It feels like it, even though Hugh Freeze said, look, he's our starter. It sure feels like that's the first move you would make if you continue to struggle, because I mentioned passing game issues, the things you haven't done. It just hasn't looked good. Now, what would you do? Would it be Ashton Daniels? Would it be Deuce Knight? Feels like if you're making a move during a game, it's probably Ashton Daniels, the guy that's played a lot of football. That one feels like to me that if nothing changes, I don't think we would see him at the end of the game Saturday. Just in my opinion. Nobody said that, but it sure feels like you're at a point now where you got to go, look, if it looks the same way for a quarter and a half and you're still in the football game because your defense, you got to see what something else looks like, at least in my opinion.
Jason, as always, man, great insight and analysis. We always appreciate your time. Before we let you go, I know you're on top of everything there at Auburn Undercover, whether it's football, basketball, recruiting, you name, man, the content, the stories. I mean, they just keep churning them out. I mean, I tell you, you got to check it multiple times during the day, because you guys are uploading new information all day long. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot going on. Nathan King was in Birmingham all day yesterday from 9 a.m. SEC Media Days to late last night. That overtime exhibition lost to Oklahoma State. So got basketball thoughts there, football leading up to this weekend, and put up a few baseball notes throughout the week as well. So got a lot to check out at auburnundercover.com. And on, as it says on the scroll underneath, ITAT Jason on social media. Jason, appreciate it. Thanks very much. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. You too, buddy. Thank you as always. Great stuff always from Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, joining us here today. So does each and every Thursday. Wow, great insights there, Barry. You know, and I get what he says. The refereeing was awful in there, but and just the way they ran the game. It was as though they had never worked together or never seen a college football game or something. But again, they still should have won the game. Still, score the touchdown, carry it across the goal line. It's like your coaches used to tell you, if you hand the ball to the referee after the touchdown, he can't take it away from you. So I get all that. We'll get a perspective from Rodney Orr, our Tiger Insider, brought to you by the Destin Connection Seafood Market, coming up in about 11 minutes.
as we roll on the Thursday show.
You know, Barry, you should think about that as we go to break. I'm going to ask Rodney. Tighter Insider, so much information, so many tabs to explore, so many different topics. Yeah. Should they have like an ALB tab on the Tighter Insider?
No, because that would siphon off a ton of content out of their regular board, because you can't really have something that says, this is for all your Alabama football. This is for all your Alabama recruiting. This is for all of your Alabama basketball. This is for all your Alabama baseball. This is if you want to dog the Aubs, But it's like, ooh, dog the Aubs?
I do kind of like to mix in a little humor with some hardcore facts. That's
it's, it's a bad analogy, but it's the only one I can come up with. You go into a nice chocolatier, a chocolate store.
Chocolatier, okay.
You walk in there, and over on the left, you've got dark chocolate covered Oreos, and you've got bonbons, and you've got peanut clusters, and you've got turtles and all this. Over here on the right, there's a big old tray reserved for nothing but crack.
Yeah.
And everybody's going like, and once and they tell me, I don't know, and I'm not promoting it or publicizing it, but they tell me that crack is hard to say no to, after you've had, it's like, man, I love those pecan clusters. Golly, get those with maybe a little bit of sea salt on the top, but man, that crack.
Just ask Mary and Barry, he'll tell you.
That's exactly right. Crack and that's just,
how did I pull that one out?
we can talk about how Wilkin Formby probably should be replaced at tackle by Michael Carroll, but man, those Aubs lost an exhibition game.
Exhibition game, I tell you. You know what I didn't realize? Long day, basketball media days, and then you got to go play. Probably not the best idea.
There you go. Oklahoma State didn't have to deal with media.
They were chilling at the hotel, maxing and relaxing.
Right. Excellent point. Excellent point. Let's take a break. As we promised, Rodney Orr, TighterInsider.com in less than 10 minutes. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the River region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the River region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Artie, welcome back in. A couple of minutes to the top of the hour. A couple of other subjects we can explore. I see John from Wetumpka has chimed in about a couple of subjects today on the River Region Straw chat line. As I was, and I'm going to say watching that baseball game last night, because I did watch more than 5 minutes of it, so I think that constitutes I watched it. I thought Is John from Wetumpka going to give me the ratings on that game from last night? Because I'm real curious to see if they could even come close to the Alabama-Missouri game that maxed out at 10 million viewers, averaged 8.7 million, which is more than double what that baseball game rated earlier in the week when he tried to, get all giddy and, hey, look at this, baseball. They had 4 million people watching it. I'm thinking, 4 million? This is postseason baseball, America's game, blah, blah, blah. So I'm really interested to see how that game last night rated amongst the national TV audiences.
Not interested enough
to look it up.
Go look it up. Yeah. Not that interested. That would, according to John, that would equal a type of obsession. And John from Wetumpka, you knew what you were getting into.
Oh, yeah.
4 million. 4 million is 4 million.
4 million.
John's point is that, hey, it's not as much as this college football game. Therefore, it's totally worthless and meaningless and should not even be brought up as a sports subject on any reputable sports program.
I'll tell you this, John, you're lucky that Flavor of Love isn't still on.
Gosh almighty. Otherwise, he would wear us the heck out about that. He is down. He loves baseball, and I love baseball. Unlike some people, I watch it because I like it. Just like I love, John tries to position us all as, you must not really like college football if you're pumping all this. But no, love college football. Part of my livelihood, a sizable chunk of my livelihood comes from college football. But I watched baseball because I like to watch baseball.
Yeah.
John likes to watch football as much as anybody. But if you've noticed, John from Wetumpka is down on Auburn these days. And that's sad.
Yeah, come on, John.
Let's face it.
Can't give up
Missouri
on
has
them.
a better football program than Auburn does. That's not necessarily false, but John meant that as a criticism. Come on. Missouri. Did John from Wetumpka, do you mean Missouri has a better football program than Auburn does? Or do you mean it like Missouri has a better football program than Auburn does?
That's a good way to put it. So, Barry, I'm looking at it this way. Eli Drinkwitz, they were about to run this guy out of town. I mean, he was 5-6, 5-6, 7-5. Then he goes like 11-2 and 10-3. So the last 2 seasons,
been pretty good.
Really turned it around. So based on the last 5 years, Auburn and Missouri record-wise, John, I'm going to agree with you. Proof's in the pudding.
Drinkwitz, I got to know him. We actually interviewed him, although John doesn't remember it, when he was the head coach at Appalachian State. Then, after 1 year at Appalachian State, he went to, because he was at Appalachian State.
I remember that guy at Bowling Green. We interviewed him, and he ripped me.
I got $20 that said John cannot come up with his name. That's all.
No way. You put 20,000 on the line. I couldn't tell you that guy was. Yeah.
Now he's at Missouri and he's killing it. Remember, I'm just saying, if anybody is looking to chop somebody off at the knees, Eli Drinkwitz spent several years working with Gus Malzahn as an analyst on the staff at Auburn. I'm just saying, if Missouri is a better football program than Auburn, if that Auburn job came open, would he consider it a step down? Rhett Lashley is in a pretty good situation at SMU. It's now in a Power 4 league. It's easier to get to the college football playoff in the ACC than maybe it is in the SEC. Maybe not. He makes a lot of money. SMU is a very rich private school. Kenny Dillingham spent that one unfruitful year as the offensive coordinator under Malzahn at Auburn. He's got things cooking relatively at Arizona State. Are those jobs right now better jobs than Auburn?
Obviously, I hear this a lot, and I like Drinkwitz. I really do.
I do too. Yeah.
It's obvious he built this program, went through some rough spots. He was on the hot seat there again. I think 11-2, 10-3 the last 2 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. Obviously, well above Missouri standards. beat somebody in a New Year's Day bowl game, I believe. Like, was it Ohio State or some big team they beat in a bowl game a couple of years ago? So this team is certainly on an upward spike. Auburn claims, the money's no problem. They're going to go out and get a big, heavy hitter. Those are the rumblings and the rumors. Hugh Freeze,
right?
But you hear that type stuff. I could see that, Barry. I really thought about Drinkwitz, but to me, he's the modern-day Spurrier, kind of Spurrier light.
He's funny as heck. He'll say anything.
Doesn't care if he, and I don't think he's out to offend anybody, but he just really, shoots from the hip, calls it like he sees it, might ruffle a few feathers. Not to Spurrier's level yet, but I could see some Spurrier in him. Top on, just thinking, not really taking a deep dive on it.
Yeah.
I think Drinkwitz would be a really good fit at Auburn.
When saying that about Drinkwitz, and we've already heard that about Kenny Dillingham, Bama fans, if that happens, and I'm not even saying there's going to be an opening at Auburn, much less he would be a viable candidate or anything. But I'm just saying, Bama fans, if you've got some spare time, we know you already make fun of Kenny Dillingham's name. So if he gets the job, you're covered. If you got to work on your Eli Drinkwitz.
Yeah.
Study him. Study his name and the possible permutations of it. Does he have a bald spot on his
big ears?
On his visor like Gus did? Does he like waffle? You got to get ready just in case he gets that job, so you can be locked and loaded. Terry Bowden was short. Tuberville's ears were over large.
And I think people just call him Drink. I mean, that's kind of his nickname.
Yeah.
Trying to call Drinkwitz. I don't know.
Just get ready.
I hadn't really thought about that, Barry, but I could see that. I could, of all the scenarios out there. And, there's a lot of programs that are out there looking for coaches. I'm sure, if Auburn is going to make a move, how far down the line do we want to get? Because there's a lot of schools out there that are, certainly hunting around as well. Yesterday, the fire spread. Billy Napier's out. He's done.
Yeah, this weekend may be the weekend.
Florida's going to probably want to go somewhere big as well. So you don't want to lose all the prime top candidates out there. So that is interesting. Okay, our man Rodney Orr joining us as he does each and every Thursday during this period, brought to you exclusively by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Go by and see him today. Call ahead. Your order will be ready for pickup, 288-4272. The freshest seafood delivered daily from the Gulf of America, and along with spots across the country as well. And you can get it fresh at the Destin Connection.
How are you, Rodney?
Doing well, guys. How are both of you?
Doing well. Been looking forward to this visit. Always, we like to get your initial reaction. Alabama wins at Missouri on Saturday morning, 27-24. Main takeaways upon reflection from you, Rodney?
Yeah, well, I would say, again, you go on the road in the SEC anytime, and especially a team that's unbeaten. I think they had, a 15-game winning streak at home. It's not an easy place to win under, you mentioned Eli Drinkwitz. Well, he's done a really good job there. That's why his name's always coming up for these other jobs. But so to be able to go on the road again, as they did at Georgia, squeak out a win, again, it was their backs were to the wall. I think they overcame themselves in, a lot of ways. When you look at, you turn the ball over in the first possession of the second half, you get Missouri back in the game.
Yep.
But you clutch throws by Ty Simpson. You make plays in critical moments. And I think even Kalen DeBoer pointed that out, that, hey, the thing we're doing this year that we didn't do last year is we're making the critical plays when we have to. So that really is some things that, you could take a deeper dive into the time of possession and different things. But, I just think overall Alabama made the critical plays when they had to.
Ty Simpson's obviously getting a lot of accolades from the national media, people talking about a Heisman. I've seen guys break down his footwork and his mechanics. They're all real high on his play. But we had a former SEC player on with us yesterday that made a comment that I'd kind of thought about myself, just hadn't said anything publicly about it. But another thing that Ty Simpson does so well is he's able to mask the deficiencies on offense, particularly that running game and some of the issues along that offensive line.
Yeah, he has so far. He certainly carried them. And his ability to scramble out, probably helps with the protection that breakdowns that they've had and the pressure that, Missouri was bringing. Missouri's one of the top pass rushing teams in the country. They brought a lot of pressure. And as you mentioned, there were some issues there. And then, when Jam Miller goes down, that even kind of causes more issues in pass protection because you have inexperienced backs, trying to fill those spots that they haven't really had a lot of experience doing in terms of pass pro. But yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job. He's, look, I think the running game is coming around. We've seen some improvement there. We'll see what happens with Jam Miller. There seems to be some growing optimism that he might play this Saturday. Now, we don't know that, but there seems to be some growing optimism. But I do think we may see some changes in the offensive line. Now, again,
next question.
Yeah, will they continue to rotate? Possibly. I would think so. But I think we might see some changes there, a couple of changes at least, maybe more to kind of, at least in the starting lineup. So we'll see.
Yeah, and it's nothing necessary. What I'm looking at, nothing necessarily against Wilkin Formby at all. He's a serviceable SEC offensive lineman. But you've been telling us since before fall camp, Rodney, that Michael Carroll, very, very young player, is looking really good. He's really pushing, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really thought he would probably start out at guard. Probably that was the general feeling, was that was his natural position. Now you look at him, you say, man, this guy can play either tackle spot. He's so athletic, and has the size and all of those things. But yeah, I think Michael Carroll's, certainly week to week has made a gain and a push to potentially start. And, we've seen the versatility with Wilkin playing right tackle. Again, this is just my observation. Nobody's told me this, that has expertise on the offensive line. But I just look at Wilkin and I think, sometimes he looks more comfortable on the inside. So, but, we'll see. I think William Sanders, the left guard, has done a fantastic job when he's gotten in the game. I think Jaden Roberts, they're pleased with the progress he's been making here over the last couple of weeks. Gino Vandermark, of course, is still in the mix as a swing guy. But, I really think that some of the progress that William Sanders has made at left guard is noteworthy.
Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, joining us, brought to you by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Rodney, what's going on with Ryan Williams?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Ryan has just been a little banged up here of late. Now, again, we know he's dropped passes, right? But he got banged up in a couple of those earlier games. I don't know if it's Georgia or a combination of Georgia and Vanderbilt. And I think that's why he was on the player availability list last week, that report. The weekly report that comes out, and he was listed as, was he questionable or probable? Whatever he was listed, I think he was listed as probable. But because they didn't really know 100%, he was a little bit banged up, and I think that's why you didn't see him more involved in this game against Missouri. Not from the standpoint of being on the field; it's almost like he was a decoy, but just his involvement as a receiver.
Now we bring up Tennessee, and it's hard to bring up the Alabama-Tennessee game and keep John in the picture frame because he'll get into his three-point stance and he'll go, throw a shoulder into the door frame and all this kind of stuff. In the context of history, I get it, but just in the context of this year, Tennessee is still Tennessee, in other words. But even if it was, the Sisters of the Blind or something like that, in the context of this year and continued growth, this is a big football game for Alabama.
Yeah. It's a next step. It's probably the most explosive offense they've faced in terms of the balance that they have. You know, they run the ball extremely well, or pretty well, and they certainly throw it pretty well. They average 500 and I think 27 yards a game, 49 points a game, or close to it. I think they're the number one scoring offense in the country right now. So they have a lot of balance. I know their running back, Deshaun Bishop, was banged up in this last game. He had a pretty good game against Arkansas. He had over 140 on about 16 carries. So we'll see, you know, what that looks like with him. But yeah, they've been really good offensively. Joey Aguilar, the quarterback, of course, the transfer, has done a nice job. Now, let me say this, John and Barry, about Aguilar, because I've looked into his history a little bit, you know, to find out a little bit more. Because we all knew that he transferred from App State, I think it was, to UCLA. Right. And he stayed there about a month. And then all of a sudden, you know, Nico goes to UCLA and Joey comes over to Tennessee. Well, right now, I think he has about 14 touchdown passes, I think it is, and 5 interceptions. But you look at his 2 years before that, he threw 24 interceptions. He
did, yes.
24 interceptions. There's a bit of a propensity there to if you get some pressure on him, he's a risk taker. You know, I mean, just is. I mean, he'll put the ball up. So I think there might be something there where Alabama in the secondary could potentially come up with some big plays, some turnovers and that kind of thing. And if they do, that'd be really huge, obviously. But I'll tell you another thing that really stands out to me is the time of possession. Alabama's been a team that's really, over the last few weeks, started to rack up time of possession. They had nearly 35 minutes against Georgia. They had over 37 minutes against Vanderbilt. They had over 38 minutes against Missouri. Now, remember, Missouri was like one of the top time of possession teams with 38 minutes, and Bama holds him to 21 and some change, right? So Alabama's done a really good job. Now I want to give you a stat here that I think is, and again, I'm going to try to get this right because I looked it up. I looked it up last night. This kind of blows me away. Now, maybe you guys, it may not impress you as much, but Tennessee defensively has played 463 plays this year defensively. Alabama has played 327. That's a difference of 136 plays. That's nearly 2 full games.
That's right. Whoa.
So let me just say this. I'll say this to say this. I don't want anybody to say, Alabama's tired on defense. Look, Tennessee's played double. I mean, 2 games more, basically, number of plays than what Alabama's played this year. That's pretty amazing. Now, Tennessee ranks like 100 in total defense, something like that.
Right.
But they sacked the quarterback. They lead the SEC. I'm not sure where they stand nationally. 26 sacks a game. They have 50 tackles for losses. Now, Alabama on the flip side has 9 sacks. So they can rush the passer. They can get after the passer. And it goes back to what you asked earlier about pass protection. They've got to protect Ty Simpson. He's got to get the ball out quickly. He's got to make smart decisions. And because, again, that Tennessee defense they do bring the heat.
You know, Rodney, I'm not a big stat guy, never have been, but there are 2 stats I pay close attention to: time of possession and turnovers. And you just told us Alabama's last 3 games, they dominated the time of possession. Alabama has not turned the ball over a lot this year, which has been huge to them. But, Rodney, if that time of possession is flipped, Alabama doesn't win those last 3 games. Those 3 games were close. Those were close football games. So I think dominating time of possession, keeping the ball away from your opponent has been really big for this team. Can they still use that game plan moving forward? Because you got to know every other team out there is thinking, we got to get the ball away from this team. They're holding it 35, 38 minutes a game. No wonder they're winning. Plus, on the fact they're not turning it over either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and penalties. Penalties they've done a really good job with penalties in terms of being disciplined. So that's been a real key, because you guys know, even the latter 2 years of Saban's era here, it just went crazy with penalties. So they've done a really good job there. Now, on the flip side of that, let me say this. Tennessee's one of the worst time of possession teams in the country. They score fast. They keep their defense on the field. Their defense hasn't done a good job of getting off the field on third down or even fourth down. I think teams have gone for fourth down against Tennessee this year 16 times, and they've converted 10.
Eesh.
10.
Wow.
So,
something.
I say all that, and Alabama's not afraid to go for it on fourth down. They obviously had the big throw to Lotzier Brooks, and then the touchdown throw to Hill on fourth downs. But yeah, so there's a lot of things interesting here as you start to look in the numbers. Penalties, time of possession, turnover margin. I think Tennessee's +2. I'm not sure. Again, I shouldn't spout off a stat that I'm not 100% sure on, but it's Alabama's been really good with turnover margin. And I think all of those things, if they carry over into this game, I feel pretty good about where Alabama stands right now. And I will say this, just kind of, you're not asking me, but I'll say this. Let's say hypothetically Alabama does win this game.
Yeah.
I think the South Carolina game suddenly becomes a real trap game.
Oh, hello. Who said that back around the whole summer?
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah. 5 games in a row, right after Tennessee. You go to Columbia for the first time, and I can't remember when. Boom. Yeah, I'm with you, Rodney. That's got trap written all over it.
All over it. If Alabama pulls this game out, I mean, it would really become a trap game. And what it would show me there is, okay, now we're in a situation like we were last year when people are expecting, because South Carolina hasn't really played up to what a lot of people thought.
Right.
And now you've won all these games in a row. People are confident in you. You've got to go on the road. Are you going to respond? How are you going to respond? Can you keep the focus of your team? I think that'd be a real big challenge for Kalen DeBoer. But first things first, you got Tennessee on Saturday night.
And in Tuscaloosa, where Tennessee hasn't won, except for that vacated game, they haven't won in Tuscaloosa since 2003. It's interesting because Tighter Insider yesterday, Rodney posted his third Saturday in October memories, and of course I read it immediately. Rodney, John, he brings up names like Robin Carey and Jack O'Rear and Tim Travis and Peter Kim and the win over Tennessee the week after losing to Memphis State and stuff. I had no idea about it.
Bill Curry kept his job, able to come back and beat Tennessee after losing to Memphis. I think that was 17-10 in the Liberty Bowl, if I'm not mistaken.
I was there.
Oh, man.
I was there.
How bad was that, Rodney?
Oh, it was awful. Listen, I've got to admit this, okay? Good friend of mine picked me up. I was living in Jackson, Mississippi at the time. And he picked me up, and I rode with him to Memphis. And I told him the whole way, this is Bill Curry's first year, 1987. Told him the whole way, Curry ain't going to cut it. Curry, we might as well just go ahead and cut our ties now. He's like, oh, no, Curry, let's give him a chance. I'd never forget, we're standing inside that Liberty Bowl stadium at the end of the game, and he goes, Curry's got to go.
Yeah.
Still my favorite, though, is the Philip Doyle game, the 6-gun. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That was obviously, I'll tell you this, John and Barry, and I think you guys, if you know in the history of Alabama and Tennessee especially, that was the one game that, look, if you had to bet everything you owned, you'd have bet it on Tennessee. I mean, because there was really no way Alabama was going to win that game. And how they went out there and they defensively dominated that game, Bill Oliver deserves tons of credit. But, man, that was a loaded Tennessee team. Loaded.
I totally forgot the context of that game. The loss to the Memphis State the week before. They win the next week in 87. But I do remember that 90-yard touchdown pass to Pierre Good. I could not tell you who had thrown it, but I sure remember who caught it, and he turned on the Jets. That was something.
And the guy he beat down that left sideline was a world-class sprinter. So Pierre was really fast, too. Pierre was one of the top track stars in the history of the state of Alabama. But, that was a crazy game, 41-22, Alabama won. continued a streak there that it started. Well, actually, it started the year before when in 1986, toss it to Bobby Humphrey. He runs for 217 yards in Knoxville. Alabama snaps Tennessee's 4-game win streak. And then, of course, you mentioned the 87 game.
Ray Perkins put 56 on the board against him in Knoxville one year because I was at that game.
Listen, John, they scored 42 in the first half.
Yeah.
It was 42-14 at halftime.
Yeah.
Alabama was up 42-14 at halftime. They won 56-28. That was the Bobby Humphrey game, 217 yards.
What a game.
It's funny to sit here and go over, for me anyway, to sit here and go over some of those games with Rodney Orr, who has such fantastic recall, and John is jumping in and everything, and I'm looking at our viewership going tick, 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 tick.
How about this game in whatever year?
Don't forget that game. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of memories in these games, and you guys know too that it's pretty wild. It's a lot like the Auburn series. Wild things happen, and I think the wildest thing, one of the wildest things I've ever seen in this game, was when in the 90 game, Tennessee's lining up to kick the winning field goal with but just over a minute and a half left, whatever it was. And Stacey Harrison for Alabama blocks it. It ricochets off his face mask and goes like 25 yards towards the Tennessee goal line. Now, listen, here's the key to that. Alabama didn't have 25 yards of offense in the second half. If that ball does not bound down the field, Alabama would probably never be in position to kick that winning field goal by Phillip Doyle.
That's right. I remember that. I do remember that.
This game, one more before we let you go. Legion Field, maybe it was the 93 season. I can't recall exactly. David Palmer lines up at quarterback for a 2-point conversion. Tennessee calls a timeout. They run back out there. They line up the exact same way they lined up before the timeout. And David Palmer still scores the 2-point conversion to tie the game.
Yeah, that was a great drive, of course. Tennessee pretty much dominated that game. Yeah. And Alabama State kept it close and got the ball back with, a minute and a half left or whatever, and drove down the field. Barker made some great throws. Palmer made a diving catch down the right sideline. He hit Kevin Lee with a big throw down to the goal line. Barker scored on a sneak, as I recall, and they went for 2 to tie the game. It was 17-15. And you're right, John. When Palmer lined up at quarterback, Tennessee totally freaked out on defense. Totally. Called the timeout. What did he do? He comes in, he takes the snap, and he just runs a sweep to the right. They had no chance. They
lined up in the exact same formation they were in before the timeout. It's like, you can call all the timeouts you want. We're still running this play.
They didn't know what to do.
It was
Palmer was that good.
Yeah, boy.
He was something. Yep.
Whew, man.
Just like Rodney Orr's segment every week with us. Always appreciate it. TigerInsider.com. Great content. How do people log in?
Right. It's TigerInsider.com. It's only $48 a year. You can get instant access with your credit card if you prefer. There is an address there to send a check. Gives y'all our premium information. We'll have some recruiting stuff a little bit later today. Several visitors, mostly guys that are committed, but that, and then also our All Sports Forum. It's a lot of talk there on the All Sports Forum, as we head into this game.
I never knew so much about Auburn basketball till I went to Tiger Insider last night.
I'll tell you what, you mentioned the Auburn potentially Hugh Freeze situation. I think they've got that covered too.
I think they do. Yeah, ain't no kidding about that. Yeah. Rodney, as always, my friend, we greatly appreciate your time. Look forward to chatting with you next week.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You too, buddy. Thank you. Rodney Orr, brought to you exclusively by the Destin Connection Seafood Market. Hey, if you're not going to the game and having some folks over to watch Bama, Tennessee, Auburn, Missouri, let David Scott and his staff at Destin Connection get all of your party food ready for you. They'll cook, peel, and devein your shrimp for you, medium, large, and jumbo. Have some boiled shrimp. Man, have some fresh oysters there as well. Any other type of seafood item you may want, David's got it at the Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call ahead, 288-4272. your order will be ready for pickup.
Well, when we come back, it is the Phantoms Daily Dog recapping yesterday. It is shall we say, a full slate today for the Phantom to pick and choose from. I mean, the pickings are lush. Today we've got Tulane at East Carolina. We've got Steelers and the Bengals on John's Amazon Prime account.
Yep.
Blue Jays, Mariners, Brewers, Dodgers. What will it be? It's next with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is excited to participate in our annual Catch Me in Pink campaign, raising money for cutting-edge breast cancer research. We partnered locally with the Joy to Life Foundation and Vera Bradley to help raise significant funds in support of the cause. Each week, we are giving away prizes locally in addition to our national grand prize, a tropical trip for two. To enter, simply snap an USSI of you and a pink-clad Dixie employee and enter it on our website. Dixie will donate money for every photo that's submitted, and you will be entered to win big.
Welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today. Coach Rick Neuheisel, who does a show with our man Adam Zucker and BJ and those guys at CBS.
Yep.
Mentioned last night that he thinks Alabama controls the time of possession well enough to defeat Tennessee. I'm with you, Bear. You think about it. Those last three games, a late touchdown to beat Vanderbilt by 10. Hold on against Georgia after they jumped out to an early lead. Beats Missouri by 3. If they don't control the time of possession like they did in those three games, I'm not sure they win them.
Well, yeah, and I honestly think that is a very conscious effort. It's not just, that's how much time it took to score or how much time it took to run out the clock. I think that they play it that way as well as anybody. Look, I'm impressed. I couldn't have told you very much before about Ryan Grubb. I knew him I knew of him when he was at Washington. Didn't work last year in Seattle. I've been impressed as heck with him. If you look at just the game itself, back and forth, the play calling and stuff, you see him maximizing his team's strengths and minimizing their weaknesses. But when it's all over with and you look back and you look at the numbers and you think, man, that whole thing just kind of all fits together for him. When we say, and I don't disagree at all with CJ Duncan, that Ty Simpson is able to minimize a lot of his offense's flaws, I think a lot of that is Ryan Grubb as well. This is what impresses me most, especially when we talk about Alabama's chances to make it to the playoff and do something, is that I think it is a perfect marriage between offensive coordinator and quarterback. I mean, you've got a lot of guys. I think Hugh Freeze is a really good play caller, but I don't know that his quarterback is a kid who can just, let it rip. Even like some of the less talented quarterbacks that Freeze has coached, like Chad Kelly and Stuart Patridge and some of those guys. Bo Wallace. I think Ryan Grubb is a really good offensive coordinator, knows what he's doing, very creative, and he's got the perfect quarterback to run his system.
Well, I think he does. Kind of makes me wonder if maybe that's why he didn't stick around the first time he was in Tuscaloosa, because he's thinking, I don't have a quarterback. How about this, Barry? Through 6 games, Ty Simpson has thrown 16 touchdown passes. All of 2024, Jalen Milroe threw 16 passes. So they definitely got a quarterback, something I harped on a lot last year. People criticized me for it early on until they saw it the way that I did.
Yeah.
And they realized, that Longshore might have hit on something finally. He might be
never. Don't back off of that. Don't admit to that unless it's absolutely your last option. I mean, if you are on the cliff and somebody has a red hot poker poking at you and say, was Longshore right about Jalen Milroe? Then you can say, all right, he was right. He was. Other than that, fight the good fight, man.
Tobias has checked in. He must be reading my mind, because I was going to bring this up to some degree. Tobias out in the desert of Arizona at 8:28 this morning. Says Alabama has no depth on defense, so the time of possession strategy is a sound strategy. Tobias, I don't know. I don't know if I look at it that way, but I see what you're saying. I'd like to see Alabama maybe even out or maybe even lose the time of possession and see if they can win the game. And that, of course, will make count. That puts the pressure on the defense. Can you still give the other team some time, some possessions, but still have enough, when you get inside the red zone to clamp them down, field goals instead of touchdowns, whatever it may be. I just think this time of possession game, people are going to figure it out. I think they already have. I don't think they can put the whole season on time of possession. They're going to have to win some games, where they don't win the time of possession battle, or maybe they
got to score quick.
Yeah, maybe they're one of those. They have a turnover, one more turnover than the other team, or whatever it may be. But there again, I know we're ranked
turnover,
but I don't think Alabama's a national championship team. I think there's some other teams out there that look like it right now. Miami, Ohio State, probably Oregon to some degree, even though they lost last week.
I like that.
Alabama looks like those teams just yet.
Indiana Hoosiers too. Now, if
I've still got to have more. I don't believe in them.
I mean, it's Indiana. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. One quick thing before we go to the Daily Dog.
Yes.
I believe in what Scripture tells us about the quality of charity. You need to be charitable in resources and in spirit to your fellow man. I applaud the charity being shown with a clear heart and with a pure conscience by the Seattle Seahawks, because they have elected to pay as a quarterback Jalen Milroe. I mean, obviously he stinks so bad that there's nobody in the world who would want him to be their quarterback or to actually pay him money to be their quarterback, judging from what some people have said about him over the years. But here he is on the roster, maybe second team, probably third team,
maybe.
with Seattle. And behind Sam Darnold and Drew Lock, two experienced guys. So Seattle Seahawks, I applaud the donations you're making of a charitable thing. You're not getting that money back, and that's okay. Being able to have Jalen Milroe on your football team, even though he obviously has no skills whatsoever, and you're paying him a good salary, God bless you, Seahawks. God bless you for passing the plate around.
Kind of reminds me of Russell Erxleben, who actually did play but sucked. And they found out about it probably 4 games into the season.
4 games into his second year, yeah.
If Jalen Milroe makes it, what's you got to play 3 years to get your pension or something like that?
No, 5.
5, but 3 years is usually when you sign a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He ain't signing one with the Seahawks.
So this is what you're hearing. Yeah, I've said before, Jalen Milroe's not a quarterback. He's no good. They're never going to do anything with him, which is probably true. But that guy is just not a quarterback. Now that he is on an NFL roster, he's not on the taxi squad. He's not on injured reserve. He's not in the CFL. He is on an NFL roster and getting paid for it. Here's what you're hearing. Well, let's just see if he lasts 3 years.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I think when the Swiss Army knife hangs it up in New Orleans, the Saints grab Jalen and put him into that spot. Limited quarterback plays, but put him at tight end, put him at running back, put him on special teams. That's what you do. That's how I'd play.
Yeah, if you play him at all.
I'd be comfortable. I'd be all day comfortable playing Jalen Milroe in that role. All day. Quarterback, never going to happen as a starter in the NFL. Okay, I watched more baseball last night. Okay, I'll admit it. Because the team I had exploded in like the third inning, second or third inning?
Yeah,
third home run derby. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. I mean, and they weren't cheap home runs either. You know, early on when Seattle playing their first home playoff game in like 24 years, place was going nuts. You had Randy Johnson throwing out the first pitch. Seattle scores 2 in the first, and the place is absolutely losing their minds. Second inning, still 2-0. And then in the third, George Kirby. Name somebody under 30 years old named George, and tell me how much confidence, therefore, you have in him. Double. Again, in the third inning, double, single, homer.
Yeah. Hey, don't forget about the pitch that the catcher couldn't snag, and I think 2 runs came off.
A wild pitch gets a run in. Toronto scores 5 in the third.
Beautiful.
That's all they needed. They ended up winning it 13-4.
Yeah.
And John's like Alfred E. Newman on Mad Magazine. What? Me worry?
Yeah, no doubt. Feet kicked up, clipping the cigar, catching 115, and we went 13-4 is like 42-7 in football. I mean, this was great.
Probably
so. So good night for the guys in Canada. And there's a lot of Blue Jay fans at the game I saw. A lot of representation from the Canadians last night.
No doubt, yes.
All right, so that was then, Barry. We can't sit here and harp and gloat and beat our chest and all that kind of stuff. Well, we got to move on. So, hey, John, did you have Seattle last night, by the way? I've been on John a lot lately this week. It's been kind of fun. It's like the old days. Love it.
Yeah. Hey, John, you got the ratings for that game?
Yeah,
they were
Still waiting.
Well,
all right, tonight, Barry.
We're waiting.
You mentioned baseball. We got some football. There's some good games in college tonight.
Yeah.
Some Major League Baseball playoffs. Got a lot to watch tonight. But, Barry, we are going to the National Football League.
Okay.
I think this game's on Prime, you said?
It's on Amazon Prime. It's the Geritol Bowl.
It is. A couple of 40-year-old quarterbacks.
41-year-old Aaron Rodgers for the Pittsburgh Steelers visits Cincinnati to square off against 40-year-old Bengals quarterback Joe Flacco.
Now,
the only other time that's happened when 2 starting NFL quarterbacks were 40 years old and faced each other. It actually happened twice, both in the COVID year. In 2020, Saints versus the Patriots, Drew Brees versus Tom Brady.
Oh, okay. Bengals at home catching 5.5. That's a good number.
Yeah.
5 is a good number. 5.5 is even gooder. I love 5.
All right.
And the home team's catching 5 and a hook tonight. My only worry, I'm not worried about the age of these quarterbacks. These guys are experienced. They played a lot of football. They know all the ins and outs of the game. My biggest worry, Barry, is what uniforms the Bengals are coming out in tonight. Are they going to go all white? You know, they
white
wear that
helmets with the stripes.
You know, the white tiger look, you know, where they think they're out in Vegas, you know, with Siegfried and Roy. I mean, come on. So, and then they'll sometimes go all black and mix in the orange. I know it's that season of Halloween. So I'm a little concerned about the unis that the Bengals are going to come out in tonight. I shouldn't worry about stuff like that, but it's kind of like golf. If you don't look good stepping up to the first tee, you know, you're hurting yourself. So that I shouldn't worry about it, particularly if they jump out to a lead. That's my only concern. Bengals home team catching 5.5. I'm going to take them. Are they going to win the game outright? I really don't care.
No.
But they're going to cover 5.5.
By the way, Siegfried and Roy both died about 5 years ago. But
yeah,
it's
they
still
did. One of them
very good reference.
One of them tiger.
Got a little crosswise with a white tiger. Yeah,
I was able to see that show in Vegas. I know once, maybe twice. It's amazing. I will tell you. Whew, man, those tigers, the way they had them trained up there, I couldn't believe it. But maybe I would do that every night for what they were paying those guys.
Not me, but you know, it's probably a little more dangerous. It's probably a little bit more chills and spills. Coming up with a daily dog every day. There have been times when the fan has said, "Man, let me stick my head in that tiger's mouth and see what happens there." So.
Wow. All right. When we come back, a couple of other things we want to get to before we get to Gurn Jr.'s 777, Victoryland 777 topic wheel. A couple of other notes, but we're moving right along. Really appreciate all the chats on our River Region Straw chat line. You can email us, longshoremcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoremcknight@gmail.com. Get your score picks in. Alabama, Tennessee, Auburn, Missouri for your chance to win that $500 1-carat lab-grown diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. If you're the winner, you go into our national championship drawing where you can win a 1-carat natural-grown 1-carat diamond valued at $3,000. How about that?
Yeah. Something to noodle on before the break. This from our chat line from Bama Pride, John Dett. And he writes this. Frederick the Great, he who defends everything, defends nothing. Trev Alberts talking about defending Alabama football with all their receivers and Simpson at quarterback. What in the heck is that?
Trev Alberts, what is he at A&M now?
He is. Yeah. I don't know. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. For a successful stint in the great outdoors, pack accordingly. Place heavy essentials near your spine for stability in rough terrain, with light items near the bottom. Now, you may be wondering, where does the Bush Light go? In your stomach. Bush. Head for the mountains. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bush Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the River region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, getting back at it here before we get to the wheel. I noticed a pretty good slate of SEC action this week, beginning at 11 o'clock in Nashville, where Vanderbilt hosts LSU. and the Commodores are a 2.5-point favorite. The number 17 rated team in the country is a 2.5-point favorite against the number 10 rated team in the country, albeit LSU on the road. Could be interesting there. If Brian Kelly loses in Nashville, whoo, those LSU fans are going to go crazy.
Tennessee, Alabama. Other than Tennessee, Alabama, and Auburn, Missouri, there are 3 SEC games I'm looking at. That's one of them. Ole Miss and Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Man, Lane is in a good spot heading into Athens. I love that.
Well, here's another one, Barry. The number 5 rated team in the country on the road at the number 9 team in the country. Georgia, the home team at rated number 9, 7.5-point favorite. So there again, 2 teams that are rated higher going on the road as underdogs.
2 very, very established coaches. Could be, hearing some unwarranted back chat. Brian Kelly should, if he doesn't win that Vanderbilt game, they're going to be the Wolves howling. Are they going to be chirping at Kirby a little bit if they lose at home to Ole Miss?
I think so.
The other one with that in mind, Mississippi State comes to Florida. 4:15 Saturday. Whoo, Billy.
It's a big one, Billy.
It bugs me that Lee Sterling keeps calling him Sunbelt Billy.
Well, I heard a guy.
Sunbelt, but
yeah,
Billy, even if you win this, it doesn't mean your job is safe.
Yeah.
But if you lose it,
I've heard of Sunbelt Billy. I think some writer down in Florida originated that. The same guy that came up with Sunbelt Billy calls Florida's athletic director Starkville Strickland, because he came from Mississippi State. He takes on Florida this week. He's got some decisions to make down there. Florida, 9.5-point favorite in that game. Should A&M be a bigger favorite than a touchdown at Arkansas? I mean, I know a road favorite's kind of tough, but
yes, they should. It should be 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that seems a little low. Kentucky hosting Texas, which Texas should be able to waltz into Lexington and beat them no problem. Bama 7.5 against Tennessee, a 7.5-point favorite. And as I mentioned earlier, Auburn now an underdog at home to Missouri, 1.5-point dog. I see it solid across the betting boards. Going to be interesting. Well, maybe we'll hear about some of those games tomorrow.
Maybe we will. Tell you what, let's take another break, our final break of this live show. And when we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. It's next with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Drive away in a brand new Chevy Silverado Trail Boss or win your share of $25,000 in free play and cash during Victoryland Casino's Truck and Bucks giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings November 7th and 8th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry and Longshore McKnight are giving you the opportunity to win a 1-carat lab-grown diamond valued at $500. Pick the exact score for either the Auburn or Alabama games each week. Limit 1 entry per person, per household, per game. You can enter anytime beginning Monday morning the week of the games, and all entries must be received before kickoff of each game. Enter by emailing your picks to longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. That's longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. And in the subject line, type in diamonds. One additional entry to win a 1-carat natural diamond valued at $3,000 will be up for all weekly winners to pick the score in the national championship game. Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, 8163 Vaughan Road in Peppertree, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. Open 7 days a week, or check them out at marguerites.com. At Marguerites, they make it. They really make it. Okay, let's see what we got going here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland SIP 777 topic wheel, brought to you by our good friends at Victoryland, where you can be a winner to the Trucks and Bucks giveaway. Make sure you get in on that. Happening later this month. You could drive away in a new truck and pick up some cash along the way. The more times you visit, the better your chances of winning.
All right, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. Here we go. Here we go. That's what it looks like. That's what has generated the legend of the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We've got 5 topics. Don't know where the wheel's going to stop. We're going to hit every one of them. Have no idea what any of these are about. So we start with, I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Is this Kirby Smart? Oh.
Tua. Oh, yeah. We mentioned this. This was part of the topic wheel the other day when Tua, was talking about his team, and they ain't been good.
No.
About they are not showing up to meetings on time. He said not showing up at Zoom meetings on time. He said, I made a mistake. This is yesterday. I made a mistake. I'm owning up to that. We talk a lot about we got to get this going, come in excited for work, forget about all the noise, and I feel like I just added on to that for our guys. See, that's the thing. Who did we talk to yesterday? I think it was CJ, and he was saying, man, that's stuff that you say, but you say it in the locker room.
Yeah.
You say it to somebody's face, and you also take ownership yourself. Hey, man, that starts with me. I'm one of the leaders of this team. I need to do a better job of demanding this. I need to do a better job of showing by example and everything. I don't doubt that what he said is right, John.
Yep.
But you don't say that.
Well, Tua, you can't take it back either. You can't walk it back. You said it. And I don't have a problem with you saying it. I mean, if your teammates are lax and they're not giving 100%, you got to say it. And if you call them out publicly on it, so be it. Maybe it lights a fire under them, but I don't have a problem with it all. Don't go apologizing. You've already said it. Can't walk it back. I have no problem with it.
Have there been times where John has said, man, I don't know if he should have said that, I mean, those are kind of things you keep in-house.
Sure, but if you say it, you can't come back 2 days later and go, oh, man, I'm sorry I said that. Well, you said it.
Well, now, John has been a stand-up guy with that, Look, I told you Ryan Leaf would be a better pro quarterback than Peyton Manning. I said it. I said it.
I said it.
I got to own up to it.
You don't hit a home run. You don't hit a home run every bat. Yeah.
I said Mike Riley would be the next head coach at Alabama now.
And so did the late great Cecil Hurt. But
it ain't my fault that he isn't. Things happened subsequent to my pronouncement. But it is on record. I did say it.
It is on record.
You gotta own it. Yes.
Yeah. I remember when Phil Snow ripped me about that. That's how long that was. Okay. 4 more to go here on the Victoryland 777 topic wheel. So what do you say we spin away?
Here we go.
Is it going backwards? The wheel's going backwards and forwards today. Look at that. I like it.
Tortillas.
Tortilla.
Corn or
I like the thin ones. I like a thin tortilla chip.
Whoa. Kansas, who John once treated disrespectfully a couple of weeks ago as being the only halfway non-vomit-inducing game that Missouri has played. They played Texas Tech. Lance Leipold said that a pocket knife was thrown at his staff.
What?
The conference fines him $25,000. They lost in Lubbock to the Red Raiders. Bad. He said Coach Leipold's comments questioned the integrity and professionalism of both the conference and a member institution. Both actions warranted a financial penalty. The Big 12 Conference prioritizes integrity and will have no further comment on the matter.
So that was a fan that threw a knife?
Yeah, that's what he says. Post-game.
Yeah.
Now, Texas Tech, for some reason, I'd rather throw toilet paper, but for some reason, Tech has a tradition of throwing tortillas onto the field. Evidently, somebody allegedly also threw a pocket knife along with the tortillas. He said, it's ridiculous. It's supposed to be for safety and things like that. It's a culture that's been accepted to a point, and it hasn't changed, and eventually someone is going to be hurt seriously because of it.
Well, Barry, it goes back to a conversation I heard yesterday afternoon on a program, people talking about storming the field again. Oh, it's great, and what makes college football different and unique? Let the kids go out there and have a good time. What's the harm in it? Blah, 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 blah. I'm thinking, what's the good of it?
Yeah.
Somebody is going to go out there, some knucklehead, and try to get into the opposing team's players and get in their face, and a fight's going to break out. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get injured. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh,
what's the payoff, people?
Yeah, what is the payoff?
You're not a part of it.
Stupid.
And
if all these do-gooders out there,
100% down the line, completely agree on that.
I want to hear from them when somebody gets seriously injured. Then I want to hear how great storming the field is, because it's coming, or something even worse. All right, let's go. What we got?
Yeah. Throwing tortillas, is that a better tradition than throwing toilet paper for another program?
Well, you got to clean them both up.
Yeah, some of them already not very clean. Big sign.
Big sign. Big sign.
Oh, yeah, it's a big signing. Yeah.
Okay.
Russell Westbrook, great player. Love him. Former league MVP. Signing with the Sacramento Kings, which, yes, John, they're still in the NBA.
Sacramento?
Yeah. Sacacrapo?
Sacacrapo. I can't remember what it was.
Westbrook, 18 years, 7th different team. He's played for the Thunder, the Wizards, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Rockets.
Okay.
He's played for 4 teams in each of the last 4 years.
Love it. All right. Check that guy out.
Yeah.
All right. More NBA action. I love it. All right. What else we got?
Hey, we got preseason stuff. By the way, Rockets and Hawks on the Deuce tonight. Regular season tips off next week.
So to those guys, when they go, hey, guys, it's just an exhibition game, preseason. Yes. Don't worry about it. Just go 50%.
Doubt. Yeah, not go 50%, but play your hardest. We're going to play you with this guy with you instead of the normal starter just to see if there's anything there.
And I'm going to give Auburn I'm going to cut Auburn some slack for losing in overtime to Oklahoma State last night, because they had some of their players at media days before the game was played, which is kind of dumb. But I'll never cut them any slack for losing to AUM. No excuse in that. I don't care how bad they were.
18 years ago?
18 years ago.
Something like that? Long time ago.
Yeah.
I never really care much about preseason basketball. Boy, I hope Alabama loses to Florida State at Boutwell tonight. Boy, I hope they lose bad. Bad. 20 points. Please. I believe in justice. Okay, 2 more and 3 minutes to go.
Let's do it.
Trolled and Dingers.
Oklahoma State had 3 of their 4 starters out last night. Hey, appreciate that. I didn't know that. Appreciate that.
You guys need to get that to him before 3 minutes left in the program.
Come on, earlier.
Come on. You guys are on the VIP line. You're slackers.
Dingers.
Here
we go.
Yeah. 5 homers. There were 8 home runs hit total in that game, which ties a championship series record. George Kirby. How do you have any faith with a guy named George Kirby? Andre Jimenez, Vlad Guerrero, George Springer, Alejandro Kirk, no relation to James Tiberius Kirk.
No.
The ball was flying out of Safeco, whatever they call the stadium in Seattle yesterday. Jeez. One more.
All right, let's see what we got here.
This is the one trolled.
We got to spin it to make it official.
This has got to be Lane. If it's trolled, 90% chance it's Lane Kiffin. About something.
Let's see what we got here.
What do we got on trolled today, Gurn? What? From the Pope?
What?
That's way different than Lane Kiffin. Pope Leo the 15th got in a little shot at Cubs fans?
Okay.
Wow.
Pope's getting in on it.
He's a big, big White Sox fan. Waving to the crowd at the Vatican.
Man.
Somebody else, go Cubs. And he says, hey, they lost. Wear it, dude.
Oh,
yeah. Cubs went down, dude. Love it. You know, the Pope talking trash.
Man, that's unbelievable. Yeah,
wow,
I love it. That's good stuff.
I'm not Catholic, but I have many Catholic friends, and they're probably like, all right, Pope.
Yeah, getting into it. Knowing what's going on with
love it.
In the baseball world. All right, so a lot of action tonight. NFL, college football, Major League Baseball, a lot to choose from. Just go try screen like I'll probably do tonight. Might even go quad box. There's so many games on.
There's plenty of good stuff.
Yeah, be checking that all out. Tomorrow we're at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, where we'll hear from Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. The Phantom will pop in as well, top of hour 2. Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk in the Gold Sheet, bottom of the second hour. Get your picks in to win those diamonds from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Just go to Longshore McKnight at gmail.com to make your entry between now and before the games kick off. Got to have them in. They're time stamped so we know when you send them. And, man, we're looking forward to another big weekend.
There we go. Our thanks, as always, to Jason Caldwell, AuburnUndercover.com, Rodney Ortider, Insider.com, our producer, Gurn Jr. For John Longshore, I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.